program specifically is designed to enable you, our partners, to win more business and do it profitably as more and more connections shift to the cloud. So through these slides, we're going to look at how we're going to be able to provide you with the opportunity to boost your margins, upsell services, and obviously do it securely. A little bit on the, on the market and the size of the pie, and and which direction it's heading in. It's no secret, it's heading to the cloud. So you can see the size of the pie on the slide. Businesses are tending to gravitate more towards the OPEX model, with an ever-increasing amount of their IT budgets allocated to managed services. So growing data, privacy concerns, and the necessity to ensure data security are the key factors driving the growth of the desktop virtualization market across the globe. The global desktop virtualization market, which is combined of hosted and on-prem, is expected to reach just under $15 billion US by 2024. And that's having grown from just under $7 billion US in 2016. So that represents a compound annual growth rate of 11.2% over the 5 years. This is a combination of both hosted and on-prem segments. So if we drill into that a little bit more, the software enabling hosted desktop as a service, or DaaS segment of the market, will actually have a 5-year compound annual growth rate of 32.1%, whereas the on-prem virtual client computing segment of the software market will have a 5-year compound annual growth rate of just under 3%. So what that tells me, and hopefully tells you as well, is that the hosted, or the cloud segment compared to the on-premise segment, is projected to grow at a rate of 10-1. So you could see that, and are probably very aware of the primary drivers for this, and they're mainly focused around streamlining costs, improve security, and so on. And we will, get into that in a little bit more detail as we move on. Right, so this is a very busy slide. So the IDC MarketScape positions Parallels as a major player in the worldwide virtual client computing space. So this report is very fresh, and while I'm speaking, you're more than welcome to scan the QR code and get a copy of this report yourself. It is a busy slide. Having been with Parallels for, for a number of years now, I've been privy to a number of these reports, and what I could say is that probably a more correct heading for the slide would be IDC MarketScape maintains Parallels as a major player in the worldwide virtual client computing space. So previous reports cited Parallels Remote Application Server as a major player based on it being cost-effective and easy to use. However, what this new report from January of 2020 shows is that we not only remain a cost-effective and user-friendly solution, but that we've also achieved feature parity, even exceeding the capabilities of our competitors where they overlap. All right, so the goals and benefits of, applications as a service, DaaS and VDI for business. And I'll unpack these from top to bottom as we go along. Okay, so increasing productivity. What that refers to is being able to encourage employees to be more productive. So that could be through BYOD or CYOD initiatives. Increased responsiveness by workers by being able to access their work anytime, anywhere. Faster onboarding of employees, which is very important, especially for companies that grow through acquisition, and also improved employee satisfaction. Improved service delivery, that talks about business continuity. So that this is something that came to the fore this year. So if employees cannot work in the office because of, say, weather conditions, pandemic, or disasters, they're able to work from anywhere by using their own personal device or devices. Also scalability. So with a hosted solution, you can scale up or down, and this means that you never pay for more than what you use, and that the risks and expenditure associated with growth are reduced or eliminated. But also we need to talk about, lowering costs. For devices and management, if you can securely allow BYOD or CYOD, repurposing older endpoints using thin clients, DAS and AS eliminates the need for businesses to manage back-end responsibilities such as data storage, backup, security, and upgrades. General cost savings from moving to the cloud, moving to a hosted solution makes it possible for businesses to avoid expenses associated with physical servers, instead only paying for what they use. The companies that choose a hosted solution enjoy improved cash flow and better budgeting, which is why you're seeing that increased move to the cloud. So for some companies, it may mean, not having to rewrite critical applications into web apps. This is especially poignant for our ISVs. Hosted desktop solutions significantly reduce energy use and carbon emissions, making them more environmentally friendly than traditional desktop solutions. So I see a lot of business cases, and a lot of the time partners kind of skip over this point, but by all means, you should include this in all of your proposals because it does cut down costs. But also mitigating risk. So let's look at mitigating risk. That refers to agility and disaster recovery. So there's a great deal of flexibility attached to accessing business critical data in a DAS-powered cloud service. Data can be accessed quickly and reliably. This also means that as the data structure needs to shift or geographical needs arise, the changes to data are incredibly easy to implement. And lastly, improved data quality. So this is largely due to the fact that the bulk of the data access is primarily controlled through the data service itself. So this adds a robust layer of security and improved data quality. All right, so focusing on achievable transformation. What our program is designed to do is to help you unlock and deliver high value, margin-rich projects by providing you with user-friendly, secure, and cost-effective tools such as Parallels Remote Application Server. So we're basically looking to hit these 4 sweet spots. Now let's touch on some of the inhibitors. So you might come across these. So, and you should be aware of them. You need to be able to reasonably accurate in your cost infrastructure assumptions and to select the most appropriate cloud provider. So the good news is that we enable you to do just that. Our remote application server technology is a cloud agnostic product, which gives you the ability to choose from a range of public or private cloud providers. We also have an ROI calculator on a partner portal and white papers, which should help you to do just that. There are obvious security and privacy concerns which should and can be addressed through a range of security measures. Existing applications may not be built for SaaS delivery. How do you go to market with that? How long does it take to rectify? What investment is required? I mean, I've come across customers who run, dozens of these apps that for them to make web friendly is just, it's too big of a project, and that's where RAS comes in. So what we've developed as a solution set is predicated around the concept or the term called virtual client computing. How do you deploy your solution set across any device and gain access to it securely? No matter how the infrastructure is deployed, so we don't care if it's on-prem, your own data center, public cloud provider like AWS, Google, Azure, Alibaba, whatever it is, even a hybrid cloud combination, that's completely up to you. So that flexibility is super important. And it's also important for me to highlight that from a cost perspective, when you leverage our solution set, you are getting all of these features as a single license cost, charged monthly in arrears. It includes web access to any device that's very secure. The protocols which we use are tried, true, and tested within the IT infrastructure space. From a licensing cost perspective, it's all about driving down that total cost of ownership. And I'll go into more detail around that in the next few slides. Right, so here is how this all helps you as service providers. We can extend that value to your customers, essentially. A simplified solution set, which is easy and quick to deploy and manage and maintain. We also think that we've done a pretty good job at developing the user interface. Whether you're using the client or clientless versions of our solution, and customize it particularly in the handheld device space, particularly well. Parallels RAS has native hand gestures as an example to mimic and drive the same sort of users and productivity that you would get out of a fully fledged desktop. So the user experience, if you're mobilizing the application and it's being used on a handheld device, is particularly impressive. And I invite everyone and anyone to do a proof of concept and to see how that works. And this is very helpful for ISVs, but can also be extended to customers such as workers in the medical fields, for example, or even in construction, where they rely on handheld devices quite a lot. So it's easy to deploy, configure, and maintain. The product boasts multi-tenancy features, which allow multiple customers to share the same infrastructure. This in turn allows you to further drive down costs, especially when you couple it with some of our other features. You'll most likely find this out as you're building out your models. But what we see is that there's an increased monthly recurring revenue stream that gets added on as you're providing this as a service. We think we've built what we call a win-win business model. It's very simple, low barriers to entry, very easy to get into this. There are no upfront costs or prepayments on the licensing. We also support you 24/7 as long as you are part of this program. So that's very, very important. We've got a very good support network built around this. So here's the value for you as a service provider, ISV, or reseller. It's a very simple way to deploy a solution set. If you are coming from a Citrix or VMware background, one of the things that I hear very often is that, do we need to do anything else? Is there something that I've missed? Time and time again, when I'm on, when I'm remoting into, deployment calls, this is the feedback that we're getting from customers. They think it's just too easy. We've got quite a few ISVs as well. Many ISVs have challenges in deploying that SaaS model, and that's where we come in and we provide the tools and delivery mechanisms that allows them to deploy SaaS without having to rewrite that code. The values are here. It's a very profitable solution set for service providers. It's very easy to see quickly the value that it brings. And it helps you, particularly in situations where we are today, to deploy quickly, scale up or down, and just as importantly, pay as you go. So a product that's easy to use and cost effective, we feel that together with our parallel service provider program, that we've got a bit of a framework to succeed. Now let's look at the framework in more detail. So the high value solution that is easy to use, manage, and maintain. Basically, it's an all-in-one, which means you can add services as you go at no extra cost. It's simple to deploy, so you can spin up new customers in hours. Simple management means no expensive IT resources required to manage multiple customers. So that all adds to your profit and bottom line. Cost-effective licensing model and simplified billing management. So our SPLA billing model is I guess, aimed to lower costs by paying for actual usage only. Automated and simple billing management system is available to partners, and a single SPLA key that you can use for all deployments greatly simplifies client management. Once again, I will get into more detail on that in the next few slides. So that's all wrapped around with our 24/7 partner support program. I stress again, no fees, no upfront costs, no barriers to entry. By far the lowest per user cost without sacrificing value, which increases profit and improves competitive position. We provide the resources you need to build and deliver highly profitable solutions. All in all, Parallels RAS is a high value solution that's easy to use, manage, and maintain, although we can't fight gravity, as that slide shows. Okay, So this is another busy slide. So I'll take some time in unpacking it. So we've cultivated Parallel's remote application server and tailored development towards service providers. Whether you're publishing applications, desktops, or VDI, we provide that on any device, multi-tenanted, load balancing as well is as part of the solution set, as well as the reporting capabilities on the back end that you get. The reporting meaning that you can also sub-license your key. So if you want to break your sessions out by customer or farm, you can do so. And what's the benefit in doing so? Well, the benefit of a sub-license key is that you can establish the thresholds by which a customer has access to the system and limit the number of users which the customer can have accessing that environment. In this current remote working environment, we've had partners increase their connection counts overnight and almost exponentially. You know, that is a simple conversation that you as a partner can have with your customer and simply adjust their license key. The point here is that it doesn't happen without you taking control of that. So you've got that mechanism in place with your customer to bill and to negotiate terms prior to it happening. And as you look at our solution set relative to what you're using today, we believe, and we've seen time and time again, that we create an unbeatable TCO proposition for you as the partner. Right, and here's the other thing. For us, it doesn't matter how you deploy this. The single license key enables you to deploy it at a customer site, in the cloud, or a combination of the two. We're not only cloud agnostic, but also hypervisor agnostic, giving you even greater flexibility. Oh, and by the way, we can also be deployed in hyper-converged environments. So we're certified to run on and integrate with a number of vendors such as Nutanix, Scale Computing, VMware, etc. And let's take a look at this superior user experience slide. So as you look at our solution set, we believe that you will see a very eloquent and superior user experience. So let's unpack this. Any device, anywhere, anytime. Parallels RAS provides seamless access to virtual desktops and applications from practically any device. We've got clients for PCs, Macs, clients Linux workstations, Chromebooks, iPads, iPhones, Android devices, and a very strong HTML5 browser option as well that you can fall back on. Universal printing and scanning. This is our heritage. One of the other things which we've done very well, flexible printer and scanning redirections provide users with the ability to print and scan locally from their mobile device or web browser. Remote effects support. Remote effects provides the user with a smooth, detailed, and responsive graphical experience regardless of video format or application, while also facilitating use of a wider range of USB devices. And we're enhancing this feature in the next releases as well. We're constantly enhancing all features. Ultra-fast login. This is something that's new and came out in version 17, which is the current version, and that refers to a machine learning component that's used to predict user behavior to avoid login storms and improve network speeds and login times during peak hours through distributing the back-end workload. White labeling, that is pretty self-explanatory. That applies to both HTML5 browsers and Windows devices. Windows clients. They're all customizable. So you're able to give your end users a user interface, a personalized look and feel with a touch of their organization's branding and color scheme. And mind you, in a multi-tenanted environment, each tenant can have their own look and feel. QuickPad. So QuickPad allows you to define custom keys to replace repetitive keystroke sequences. Custom keys can be tapped just like any other key on iOS and Android virtual keyboards. This is super handy for handheld devices. Also native gestures. You can use native touch gestures such as swipe, drag, tap to click, and zoom in with any Windows application on mobile devices to provide a local workspace-like experience. Multitasking is another new feature. That allows users to switch between multiple open files on demand. using apps simultaneously with iPad multitasking features such as slide over and split view on the Parallels RAS iOS client. And we also support a Samsung DeX. Extended drag and drop functionality refers to users being able to drag and drop files from the server to the client and vice versa. So drag files from published resources, applications and desktops to local Windows and macOS workstations. And lastly, bidirectional audio. So IT administrators can enable redirection of sound input and output from the local device to the remote application. So that enables the use of a local headset even for server-based applications. And you're probably not going to be using all of these features, but just so that you're aware of, I guess, the breadth of features that are available to you. A little bit on data security. So data security has always been a key focus for us. Parallels RAS is a very secure product. We have multiple, financial institutions, health customers in the health space, in the defense space using the product. We believe that we have a security solution set that would meet the needs and requirements of pretty much any customer. So you can see by our case studies that we sell into very security sensitive verticals, including, I guess, government as well, which I failed to mention. And how do we do that? So improve security by centralizing data. That refers to, I guess, with virtualized desktops and the actual data rests in the data centers or remote service, eliminating the loss of data on local machines. Because data is centralized, it's easier to detect and isolate viruses or threats before they can cause damage. Further, the virtual machine has no contact with the machine's operating system. So there is little possibility of a program damaging other files or applications. Also, because the data is centralized and virtual machines are behind strong firewalls, the company's IT team can manage usage and reduce potential risks. This centralized control can better enable application activity monitoring. So this is a great feature that we have over sort of the standard go-to, VPN solutions. Monitor, control, and restrict data access. So granular filtering rules can be created to restrict users' access to the farm, adding another layer of data protection. IT staff can define several filtering rules to decide who can access a published resource based on user, IP address, MAC address, and gateway. When we talk about enforcing client policies to any device, Parallels Remote Application Server includes a feature to configure the Parallels client settings. This is known as a client policy. A client policy is a set of rules defined by the administrator to manage, control, and restrict the settings options available to the users. What have we got still here? Manage Windows client in kiosk mode. Okay, so administrators can convert Windows devices running Windows 7, 8, 8.1 and 10 into secure kiosk-like mode without replacing the operating system. The kiosk mode option limits users from changing system settings or installing new applications, providing the administrator with a higher level of control over connected devices. Encryption protocols. RAS Secure Client Gateway encrypts with SSL or FIPS 140-2 protocol the user's connections to the farm, helping organizations adhere to data compliance policies such as PCI DSS, HIPAA, and GDPR for our friends in Europe. And lastly, on MFA and smart card authentication. So second level authentication can be enabled to provide a high level of protection with smart card authentication and MFA as well. The second level of authentication can be provided by, through either Azure MFA, Duo, 40 Authenticator, Radius, Tech Radius, DeepNet, Google Authenticator, or even a SafeNet server. In terms of how we deploy, we think we're pretty agile. It's purely pay as you go with no complicated technical or training requirements. And I can't stress this enough, how important the agnostic posture of our product is. business continuity and high availability, enable uninterrupted and continuous access with built-in load balancing capabilities. Parallels RAS supports full active-active redundancy, and this prevents any application server from becoming a single point of failure, thus improving overall application availability and responsiveness. As a one-stop solution for RDS and VDI, RAS allows organizations to manage Microsoft RDS and VDI environments in the same infrastructure, streamlining IT operations while reducing cost and complexity. And when you mix and match different OS and technologies, or the ability to mix and match different OS technologies, allows you to quickly address business demands by enabling the mixing and matching of different technologies, such as Windows Server 2008 R2, 2012 R2, 2016 and 2019, VMware ESXi, Nutanix Acropolis, Scale Computing HC3 and more. The multi-cloud, or the cloud agnostic posture of our product, offers faster, scalable and reliable access to corporate applications virtually anywhere. So you're able to choose from on-prem, hybrid and public cloud deployments in a number of, in pretty much any provider that you can think of. We're also hypervisor agnostic, or as I like to say, independent. Parallels RAS is a VDI hypervisor independent solution that allows organizations to mix and match different technologies such as Microsoft Hyper-V, VMware ESXi, Nutanix Acropolis, Scale Computing, and obviously Microsoft Azure Hypervisor, and many others. All right. Again, easy to deploy, configure, and maintain. This is easy for me to say. However, what you would want to do is look at a POC. We won't be going into a demo today. However, we provide free trial keys and NFR licenses to our partners. So if you require assistance or some guidance, we are happy to do that on a one-on-one call. We know that many providers have unique instances and use cases which they're trying to support, and oftentimes that requires a one-on-one call, and that's perfectly fine. We're invested in making sure that this product meets your needs and by extension, the needs of your clients. And let's go through these in detail again. So client auto configuration, that allows you to quickly enroll new users to access published applications and desktop with a single click on the auto configuration link. A centralized management console allows you to perform available tasks through a single pane of glass. You can deploy servers, publish applications, monitor resources, manage devices, offer help desk assistance, and define security policies, and that's all in the one console. Multi-tenancy, self-explanatory, but essentially you can monitor and manage multiple farms from just one pane of glass. REST and PowerShell APIs enable the automation of complex and repetitive tasks using REST API and or PowerShell commandlets. So allow easier integration with scheduling and workflow applications into the Parallels ecosystem. And with the wizard-based deployment, allows you to effortlessly publish and manage a wide range of applications and desktops with an intuitive publishing wizard. Automatically generate and deploy configurable RAS templates for VDI and RDSH. And lastly, auto provisioning and auto scaling. So that allows you to maintain high and consistent templates or images for virtual applications and desktops by monitoring and scaling on-demand computing resources. Parallels Remote Application Server can dynamically create, remove, release, and load balance Windows OS based on predefined criteria, ensuring sudden load spikes are easily managed without any manual action required from you. Probably the slide that I use the most in my day-to-day work. So all this adds up to a reduced total cost of ownership. And we haven't even talked about the free training and certification, both for yourselves and for your customers. That's obviously free. You can see that with the one model license and reduction in complexity, there are no add-ons. Parallels RAS is a full-featured, modular, cost-effective application delivery and VDI solution. It does not require third-party add-ons for load balancing, printing redirection, monitoring, reporting, and more. From a licensing perspective, I guess that's very attractive. With a pay-as-you-go model, you're never really exposed. We reduce complexity. Obviously, it's easy to deploy, configure, and maintain. There's no steep learning curve. RAS is an easy-to-use solution that requires minimal knowledge to configure and manage the infrastructure, reducing the learning curve. Moreover, full training is provided free of charge. I mentioned before, no add-ons. It's an all-inclusive license model, and if I can just highlight this fact, only based on concurrent users. So Parallels Remote Application Server uses concurrent user licensing. Users can establish any number of connections to Parallels RAS as long as the number of users simultaneously accessing Parallels RAS does not exceed the number of available licenses. With SPLA, you can also set that limit. And our service provider license agreement, so SPLA, a little bit on that. It's licensed per peak number of concurrent users over a billing period, which is typically a month long. The data is automatically collected on a daily basis from each farm, and it's used to calculate the licensing cost at the end of the billing cycle. There is a slide later on which goes into more detail on this. And lastly, the ability to manage sub-licensing. So I think I've touched on that before, but it just gives you that extra control and allows you to put limit on particular farms and your infrastructure. Let's talk about that and take a closer look at the licensing model itself. All right, so we use a single SPLA license key, and that is your key for production. We also provide trial keys and NFR keys for testing and internal use, but let's sort of keep this at a production level. So for production, we allow you to develop a multitude of different farms, all serviced in this instance under a single license key. So that's what this slide will show as it evolves. The single license key can be any kind of deployment, on-prem, etc. The same key or instances can be used. The total count gets aggregated, and peak is aggregated here in red. All right, so CU means concurrent users. So we will bill based on the peak number of concurrent users monthly in arrears. We would take that usage and multiply it by the appropriate rate. So if you've got any questions on this slide, by all means, drop something in the chat and we will revisit it. Okay. Billing portal. So we also give you a management portal. This is in addition to our partner portal. So this is very helpful for, say, mid to large partners who have a large multitude of customers that they need to break out the billing for. So this is a way of giving you another window into the utilization from a, I guess, consumer usage perspective. This information is also available via the admin console. All right, so here is our, I guess, SPLA pricing model. So as you can see, it's monthly billing based on actual peak concurrent usage for all clients. It includes support and maintenance for all users and yourself. And the user cost will be billed at the rate of the tier achieved. So what you see here is the MSRP, and you could also see that the rate decreases based on volume. Now, on this slide, I've called out both AUD pricing and USD pricing. So you'll get these slides so you can reference them at a later date. Okay. So our comprehensive partner and program support. Let's have a quick look at that. The PSP program allows partners to use RAS as a delivery tool for various SaaS managed and hosted applications. As I've said, there are no upfront fees or costs to join. The only requirement, this is the four things that we ask of our partners, is that you need to have applied to be a partner with us, obviously. You need to have a current membership in the Microsoft CSP program. And this is essential to get all that Microsoft licensing in order. You need to achieve and maintain 2 Parallels RAS technical certifications. Again, note, these are absolutely free. And also you need to complete an annual partner profile within the partner portal, which literally takes about 30 seconds to do. So some of the benefits here. So as a partner in this program, you will be provided with a dedicated channel account manager, but also a scalable solution that allows your business to grow as needed. You're able to provide customizable solutions on-prem, in the cloud, or in hybrid environments. Our usage-based SPLA license structure and simple customized usage and billing reports should help you do just that. You've got a pay-per-use licensing model with no upfront license fees, but also free online training and certification courses are open to you too. And as a partner, you get an NFR license key that you can deploy internally for testing or for any kind of proof of concept activity that you want to do. In terms of, I guess, next steps, for questions, any information, feel free to reach out to psp@parallels.com. Both Ari and myself are across that email. And you can apply online to be our partner as well. Those applications will come through most likely to Ari. I hope that I've, I guess, stoked your interest somewhat. And if you've got any questions at all, or if you can think of anything, feel free, ask away. Alternatively, you will get the deck. You've got our contact details, so you're able to reach out to us whenever you like, as required. I might switch it over to Ari and ask if there's been anything in the chat.
Thank you, Ilya. Just waiting for people to type if they have any sort of questions. We'll give you a couple of minutes. And also this webinar was recorded, so we will share the recording with you hopefully today, if not tomorrow. All right, so there's just a couple of people that actually mentioned they will be sending us an email, Elliot. So I guess there's no questions. So I'd like to thank everyone for joining. Appreciate your time. And again, as Ilya said, if you have any questions, feel free to drop us an email or give us a call. I'll be happy to help.
Thank you, everyone. And hopefully we'll speak soon.
Thank you so much once again. Enjoy your day.